St. Joseph was the guardian of Lord Jesus. He is also the patron and guardian of these children of this institution. St. Joseph's College is a leading Roman Catholic school for boys in Sri Lanka. It was founded in 1896. Its principal goal is to groom men with faith, knowledge, and virtue. In a world driven by money and fame, would there be humans amongst us who would not pursue this? Honestly, I would definitely spend the time I have to develop myself to be in a place that I desire to be. But would you or I ever sacrifice that time to develop another person to take that person to the place that we desire to be in?
One, high knee action. Are you ready? Yes. Go. ₹200. 300. Yelling. There are three things you require when you stand. First two, stance, posture. Posture is determined back and front, left and right, top and bottom. Pump, 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 pump. Boom, 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 boom. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? Give up. Yes, get it. Ready? Go. Yes. Ready? Yes. Yes. Ready? Yes.
He is a self-driven, bold yet humble human being, and he has been grooming several generations in these holy grounds. We have with us a silent hymn, and this is the story of Maestro Francis de Almeida. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you very much, Dulanjali and your crew, for coming all the way here to this beautiful chapel of St. Joseph's College to run this interview. Thank you very much.
You have been coming to this chapel for over several decades to groom these youngsters. How do you feel about it?
I've been coming to this chapel from the year 1997, and twice a week on Thursdays from afternoon 2 o'clock till 5:30, and every Saturday from morning 8 o'clock to 12:30. And if you calculate the number of hours I have been in this chapel, it comes to about 14,000 hours. And in this school, I think I have created a record of anyone being here for 14,000 hours in this great chapel. So that it has fond memories. But also, this is a good place to have practices. We start practices outside. Warming up is done outside, as you would have seen. But we come inside, get the feel of the music, and that gives a fine sensation, and going on for a number of years.
What is your experience in grooming the youngsters? You have witnessed the growth of children, the young boys from the age of 10 to 19 plus. What has been this experience and your approach in grooming them in choral music?
It's actually, my philosophy is that I must come down to their level and be friendly and be very close to them and have a sense of warmth. If you are a warm person, even if you scold them at once or twice a day or rarely, they will not take it amiss. They will take it in the good spirit, because after that you can really make up. So the friendship that is established is the foundation on which we can create this great group that goes on from year to year.
And if you look back in the years, back in your school days, what do you see as different or similar compared to the youngsters who are trained under you now?
I studied at St. Benedict's College. It was a wonderful place. And the brothers, the La Salle brothers who were there, they in their own way taught us to sing. But before that, in my own family, my father was a musician. He could play the harmonium. And we used to sing every day at the night prayers, during the night prayers. And that gave us the foundation. And then we used to go to church and listen to the choirs, and that helped us. So school days then and school days now is totally different, because now there is a greater emphasis on regular, proper, well-planned training programs for choirs in our schools. That was never there during our days.
How would you see young Almeida? Were you a mischievous child, and what was your atmosphere at home with your parents and the siblings?
That's a good question, because I am the fourth in a family of 11 children. And my granny was with me, and my father always looked after my cousins. First from his side to a brother and a sister. Thereafter, from my mother's side, 2 of my sisters. So it was a very large family. First we were in a very small house, and then thereafter, when I was about 7 years, we moved down to a bigger house in Co.10 by the side of our college and the convent, and also the cathedral, where there was a lot of music. So childhood days were very pleasant, very happy, and we had to look after ourselves. They were unlike the present day. The mother and the father, they didn't have the time to spoon feed. We had to look after ourselves. Schools also did that. Our parents never came to the school at the end of every term, and we looked after ourselves and we grew. But people helped. And then I also went to the seminary, St. Aloysius Seminary. There I got a good grooming in Gregorian, Latin Gregorian chant. That was also there at St. Benedict's College. One thing about St. Benedict's is, I was an altar server, and we had to do all the prayers in Latin. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, Amen. The priest says in Troiba d'altare Dei, we say ad Deum qui letificat into Teva. That we studied at St. Benedict's College. There was a brother called Brother James. Then when he came to the seminary, it was more intense, and I learned Gregorian chant at St. Aloysius Seminary, which I left after my O-level, because my father died suddenly. He came to play football with us, and then within 10 days he was dead. So we had to leave the seminary at work after my O-level. I did my advanced level after I got married and I had a child. And when I went to do the exam, those girls and boys never thought that I was a married person. So that's how we progressed. So those are the school days then. The school days now, the children now have so many benefits. Their textbooks are so good. They have specialized people to train them in sports and in music, in dance. So the present day children are very blessed, and they come in their vans. They are taken back home by their parents. So they are on a much higher level of comfort.
It's a complex life that they live. Were you mischievous when you were a child?
Normally I was not. I was not. I used to always follow the rules. At St. Benedict's College, seminary, where I worked. But at particular time I became a rebel. That is later, when I was working. I joined the trade union movement. I became a rebel. And that was different. But I never broke rules. Mischievous, somewhat mischievous.
Experience with Mr. Almeida was actually one of the best, I would say. I remember he came to school in 97 or 8 when I was in grade 7 or 8, let's say. And I remember him, we were outside the chapel. He introduced himself as Fanta. So I was like, okay, seems like a funny fellow. From that day onwards, things actually went really well because we were singing very moderate hymns, carols before that. And later on, he introduced us to classical music. And that's where we learned, got into Latin music, sometimes pretty much different languages. I don't know how true it was, but it made sense to us at that time. So yeah, that was the beginning, I would say. It was a good experience all along, and Sir was very kind to us. But he stood up more than other people. It's because of him we were exposed to singing with other choirs. Before that, it was only St.Joseph's, among us, have our carols. And once he came, it was a different thing where that was the first time we met girls also. So thanks to Sir, it was like a strictly boys' school back then. He spiced things up, I would say. And really enjoyed learning Latin music under him. And one of the best things he did was he actually accepted all the people who were willing to come and sing in the choir because he actually gave that opportunity to people who love to sing. So let's say somebody was not up to par with their music. So he had a group of, let's say, 10 or 9 individuals. He called them the Golden Eagles. Now these kids, they were not in their best, they weren't able to sing properly. But what he did was, it was his mastermind, I would guess. He kept them among people who could sing. They were all dispersed in the choir. And few months down the line, what do you know? These guys were singing as well as the others. So, and some people, they actually did better than the people who were there before. So I guess singing, people might call it a natural talent, but he proved it wrong. As long as you love it, as long as you have it in your heart, then you can get there.
Touch your abdominal muscle. You want abdominal muscle. 1, 2, 4. And make it very tight. More. Get the sound coming, circulating along that cave and comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4. More. Cave.
What were your desires as the young little Francis Almeida? What were you aspiring to become in future?
I actually wanted to become a priest because that was my father's intention. I was the first child, the first boy after 3 girls. So he said that he wanted me to become a priest. That made me join the seminary. Then after his death I left. So then I wanted to become a lawyer. I didn't become. Then because I was working and I became a coach, basketball coach. So that took all my evening time and I specialized in basketball and I specialized in singing through a priest called Father Clever Pereira. It was Father Dominic Kandappa who taught me Gregorian chant. Father Clever Pereira gave me an opening towards choral music and he was a dedicated person and all his extra time he spent on training us and I gathered so much from it. Father, he is dead and gone. But he did so much for Western classical music, choral music in Sri Lanka.
Was it always your desire to follow music, or was it by chance, by a coincidence that you
Desire. I wanted to become a choral director, and I wanted to train people. I wanted to improve my own singing. He had come from Rome. He was a soloist in Propaganda Fide College in Rome. So he gave us all the things that he has learned. He had a fantastic voice, and we had a nice group of young boys, say about 24, and we took part in competition, won, and then we went on trips to Kandy. We did so many concerts, and that was a great experience. He was unlike me, he was a very quiet type of person. Even when he wanted to reprimand somebody, he was very soft. Now, being a basketball coach, I can scream at somebody. Otherwise, we may lose a match. Within 3 seconds, you can lose a match. But in his case, he was a priest, very quiet, calm personality.
You said you're a coach in basketball and a sports scientist. Tell us your role. What was the experience like?
I was a keen sportsman. And in school, I played soccer and basketball, represented the seminary. Thereafter, I worked in a mercantile firm called CIC. There I represented the company in mercantile tournaments in athletics, basketball, hockey, and soccer. So I was always, and right throughout I was coaching basketball. Even the former Chief Justice of Sri Lanka and the current Navy commander, they had been under me one time or another. So both went parallel. Apart from my job, that is a different thing. So what happened was, I was able to apply some of the things that I have learned as a sports coach and a scientist in countries like Russia. I was in Moscow. I was in Korea learning basketball. India, National Institute of Sports. And Thailand, the American coaches came there and trained us and conducted a training program. So, and in Canada, CEDA conducted a training program. I became a level 3 coach, a Canadian coach. So, now when you think about sports coaching, physical fitness is very important. Physical fitness consists of strength, stamina, speed, and endurance. Now, speed, stamina, strength, and flexibility. So, when you train in those aspects, there are a lot of scientific implications. Physiology, anatomy, right? And you have to study those things, biomechanics. So I thought, why not you apply those principles in vocal training, because singing is a physical activity. It's like walking, talking. Talking is also a physical activity. And singing requires a lot of energy. And long notes, you have to sustain strength. And in order to develop strength in singing, it's important that you do physical training program to develop your strength, including weights, push-ups, pull-ups. So by combining, I found that during these last few years, I have taken a quantum leap. That is something beyond, and that is now helping our boys and our girls I train in training them, taking them to a real significantly higher level. So physical training side also comes. But one of my field is also education. So I was working as a education coordinator for ITF London, and they sent me on 2 scholarships. One is to Australia, Clyde Cameron College, and the other one to Italy, audiovisuals in education. So I combine that too. So how can you be a teacher? How can you be an educator? Then one more thing, you'll be interested to know. I was also in the advertising field, communication. So in advertising they say only 15% is the truth. The rest is all, they use a very peculiar word. So these are things. And I was also in the trade union movement, fighting for social justice. Actually, I have gone on demonstrations and the police had hit me and broke my forehead and put me in the cell. So I know how to endure, toughness. So all these things have gone, and I was also working in a financial company based in Hong Kong, Continental King Loon Commodities. We start work at 5 o'clock in the morning and research based. Trading in future, involved in futures training. So all these little bit of things here and there has helped me to become an, and I got married. And so far I have 2 children and 1 wife. And wife has also been a very keen partner in all my work. Otherwise I wouldn't have come up to this level.
What's her name?
She's Krishanti Pereira, and her background is microbiology, medical microbiology. She went on a scholarship on entomology, medical entomology. She's a very precise, well-organized person. So I'm a little chaotic. So she'll help me to organize myself so that I'm able to do so many things during the course of the day.
Certainly a man of all trades, and your wife has been the support, I guess, for you to continue.
Yeah. In the sense, I synthesize, put everything together. So when I do the singing, it's in one way. Then if I do physical training, coaching, I am a national coach. I've coached his current Navy commander, and he has acknowledged that I have helped him. And so I focus. When I go into these fields, I refocus.
Since you mentioned about your children, what are their names and what are they up to now? Since we always know that you're walking into the chapel not alone with your 2 grandchildren.
Grandchildren, yes. Right. My daughter is Rasha. The whole time she will be ongoing studies. She did a CIM, marketing, then she did Montessori training course, teacher training course. Now she is also teaching. She is also in the Open University. And she's married to a chartered accountant and a lawyer. So they all support me. And the 2 grandchildren are her son. My son is not married. He is 36, but he is on his own. He is living with her.
What you've given me, for me to be more than what I am. Nobody knows what you mean to me, the light you've given me to know what I am. To sing this song, fly wherever we belong. You taught us how to reach so high. Since you walked alone on this path for me for so long, thought of writing a song about your life. You made me sing to worlds up high, higher and higher as our world go by, while all the angels harmonize. Your name will reign in our hearts and our lives. Oh, oh, oh. I sing this song out loud tonight. You made me sing to worlds apart. Higher and higher as our world go by, while all the angels harmonize. Your name will reign in our hearts and our lives. You made me sing to worlds apart. Higher and higher as our world go by, while all the angels harmonize. Your name will reign in our hearts and our lives. Your name will reign in our hearts and our lives. Your name will reign in our hearts and our lives. Your name will reign in our hearts and our
No matter how senior or experienced Mr. Francis Almeida is, he remembers to remind himself to meditate on one thought as he walks into the Josephian chapel. And that is to forget his seniority and experience as a choir master. And that is because for each and every child here, it's a new day, although it has been over several decades for him.
Working in the choir was one of the best times in my life, because here he taught us about brotherhood, how to be nice to people. And when I was talking about these golden eagles, people who couldn't sing, one of the things that you have to get into your mind is not everybody would be born with a certain amount of gift, but accept them. They might be with different cultures, different backgrounds. This was a nice haven for people to actually grow, feel happy. So I think people should be like Mr. Almeida rather than being commercialized. It's okay to be commercialized after a certain point. But until that, especially, it's a nice place. Our childhood was nice because of Sir. He made it, he took it to that extent. Because, I mean, it was a happy place. Every Saturday we used to come here around 8:30. We used to do the voice training. So, lovely exposure and experience, I guess. Funny, definitely funny. But when he's serious, but he doesn't get offended easily. If you offend him, that must mean, you know, you must have done something really bad. But it was a very rare sight. I mean, he'll be very diplomatic. He'll be like, Puta, talk to them in a nice manner, you know, treat them nicely, something like that.
We are going to sing this for the prize giving, and we are going to sing at Shangri-La. It's so
Mr. Almeida, we spoke about advertising. Tell us a few examples of how your concepts contributed to the industry.
we were doing advertising for Ceylon Merchant Bank, and they wanted they wanted people, the audience, the general audience, the idea about merchant bank as opposed to the normal commercial bank. So they had other things, factoring, leasing, of course every bank has, then syndicate banking, number of other subsections. So what I did was, I got my niece's jigsaw puzzle and then erased the thing and gave each of those factors, each of those things that they were handling, and then say leasing, factoring, syndicate banking, like that, each of the puzzles come. Then there is a gap. No puzzle. If it is Ceylon Merchant, Sri Lanka Merchant Bank, and that comes. And that won the gold award. It didn't cost us 5,000 rupees. Normally a good ad charges 1.5 million. But that year, Maliban ad that we did cost about 2 million. That also got a very sophisticated ad. But simple idea, simple things can carry a long way. So, a simple ad can also pull. It need not be very complicated, because when you complicate things, the essence is lost. So one thing that I learned from the advertising and the communication field is that if your message is given in a very simple way, straightforward way, there can be benefits. But you must also remember, classical music is very complicated, and that also has its benefits. The simplicity versus complex. I was very lucky to have come and collaborated with a person called Premnath J. Moraes. He was involved with the Hollywood film production. He was a great sports editor, a complex personality. So he was a creative director, and I became a group general manager. Although he worked under me, I always kept him right on top, and I learned so much from him. And he was one person who was very precise and very punctual. Any work that you give him, he gives the final product in no time. If it's a film script or anything like that, or a TV advertisement or a newspaper ad, before that person, after the briefing, the person goes down to have lunch and come back, he has it ready. So such prompt action is what I learned from him. Then there was a person called Jayasena in another advertising agency. He was also very kind but also strict, and very friendly person. He used to get, and he always cared for the people who worked under him, and made sure that they were well looked after. So those are the two people in the advertising field. And advertising is a very challenging thing, and I learned so much from them. And in my accounts, and at CIC, I was at CIC, 15 years I did accounts. There was a person called J.C. Fernando. He studied in India, he had a degree from an Indian university. I learned from him to be very precise, to be very methodical. Those are some of the personalities that helped me.
With this wealth of exposure that you have gained from all aspects that you have brought together, so in putting this together, what have you come to present with?
Putting all these things, putting everything together, you come to that irresistible conclusion. There is so much more to learn, so much more to learn, and to research and to investigate and to develop your thesis. Right now I am trying to write a thesis based on the application of physical training methodology and scientific principle in vocal pedagogy. There are three things. One is the physical training methodology. How does the body sort of made to work at an optimum level, even singing, of course in running. So I get my boys to run 800 meters before practice starts, and then they will do stretch exercises. So that is, they'll gain speed, and they'll do push-ups to get strength, stretch exercises, and breathing, and breathing cadence, the timing in breathing. So those things, that's a big section that I am applying now. But I don't have to tell them. But if I write the thesis, you will see there's one full section on that. Second thing is the scientific principle. What is sound? What is energy? What is wave? Then how does the sound get amplified? what are musical notes, what are frequencies, what is the speed of the sound, things like that. What is the difference between electromagnetic sound and the normal sound that we have? So those things are applied when you learn, and also anatomy, physiology. How does the body work? Hearing, speaking. Then you go to vocal pedagogy, the science of language. How do the sounds get together and form words, and how do the words give meaning? Things like that. And what sort of person? Pedagogy also means the person of the coach. So is coaching philosophy and charisma. You must have a charisma so that people say, right, he's a person whom we can follow. So actually there are 5 aspects of that. I am studying. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and start studying, researching, writing. I like to write. So there is somebody to type my thesis, and I want to give it to a university, maybe Colombo University, for a final approval. And so those things I apply. And there is as I mentioned earlier, it makes a big difference.
So my wish was is long life and God's grace for him to be able to give the same opportunities that we were given back then, and I hope people would be lucky enough to enjoy what we got under his supervision and guidance, not only about music but about life as well. And thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure indeed.
So Francis, he has been a really good mentor, if I tell the truth. Not even, he doesn't correlate direct us, but also he has implemented good values and virtues in us to make us good disciplined people, because singing is something you have to sing with all of your heart. So I think Francis implemented that virtue in us. So I'm really grateful for him, make us uplift our voices to our God. So I'm really thankful for him. May God bless Francis.
You were following your passion, and when anyone follows the passion, there are always challenges. What were your challenges in your path?
Challenges. Every institution where you work, you face challenges. One thing is the management changes. First, it's very important that you convince them as to what you are doing is the best for their students or those who are in the office. And always you come across certain sections in the management who don't agree with you. And so you have to convince and go ahead, swim, against the current. And constantly, you have got to do that. Constantly, they will say, don't do this, don't do that. But keep doing, little by little, little by little. And then you find from where you were, from 0, you have come up to 50. Then with lot of difficulties, lot of opposition. Normally in these schools and in these institutions, management They can't see the way that we see things. And also in the general system, established system, they're very mediocre. Things as they were, and not go beyond the outside the box. So if you are a person who works outside the box, who are non-traditional, you will eternally come against problems. So you have got to face it. Sometimes you will have conflicts, sometimes peacefully. So that is how, little by little, we have come up to this level. If you just went by what they said, the management says, in various fields, you will be very low. So you have to swim across the corner with lot of determination, but with lot of tact to come to the place where you are. Then they will understand, oh, this is what it means.
How does music impact another person, and what can it do to a community as a whole? What is the most touching music piece that comes to your mind?
I can say from all the music that I have done, Mozart music, certain compositions are beyond description. And you would have heard that one of those boys sing, beyond description. But even a simple music can touch your heart, and depends on the mood. There are certain music that enhances your feeling regarding about loss, about happiness, about joy, about triumph. So it conveys various sort of feelings. Music, especially choral music, also develops the brain. Now they call Mozart effect. That is, people who do Mozart by piano, by way of singing, they say their intelligence level go up. There is greater neuroplasticity. And they have done a lot of tests to prove that. Music also heals. Music can heal. A lot of tests have been done. And that's what they recommend even in hospital, gentle light music, even in operating theatre, gentle light music that can help reduce tension and enhance the process of recovery quicker or faster. So music can also develop your memory skills, your intellectual capacity, and your way of thinking and way of judging. So music is a very fine gift that God has given humanity. There are two things young people right now want to have in this world. They are very popular. One is sports and one is music. So I have been involved in both. So I know how one helps the other. And music really, and music can also unite people. Music can also help people to focus on world issues. For example, AIDS problem in Asia, in Africa, was enhanced, was proclaimed to the world, delivered to the message of the people dying of AIDS by Bono, singer Bono, and he and his wife went to Africa, worked among the people, children who were dying, and he was so upset. He did a huge concert and then created the awareness of the suffering of those people who were actually dying silently. Then he met various leaders of various countries and then got them to support, fund treatment and prevention of AIDS. And also a lot of singers have got together in their fight against hunger, world hunger. So those are things that music can do. And also there's a spiritual dimension. It brings us closer to your faith. Even if you are a Buddhist, you do the chants. If you are a Christian or a follower of Islam, all this music has a spiritual dimension that will help you calm down and give purpose to life.
What do you try to convey through your musical productions to the community? And what are the international recognition that you have gained, and even the titles that the choirs have won?
In a way, if you do a concert, then it's a production. If you take part in a religious service, it is an offering. Now we belong to an international organization called International Pueri Cantores Federation that is based in Switzerland. Their president and vice president came recently, and they were amazed at the quality that we have, even as compared to the European choirs. We did a Latin, full Latin mass. We did a nice concert here. They were amazed. And they want to come back. They want this year in April 21st, they want to have a memorial sort of service in different parts of the country in commemoration of the April attack. And on the 19th of April, we are going to do a concert with 2,000 student singers in this complex. So we will be having 3 practice sessions and then putting together. Now, these large numbers of people, I have some experience. Year 2000, we had a Jubilee concert here. We had about 680. Then a few years later, 2012, we had a Eucharistic rally. We had 720 singers, plus we had a band, combined band of 580 in 12 bands. This was 27 schools in the choir. And we put the whole thing together. Then we have been doing a lot of diploma programs, especially Latin. We are trying to revive Latin, which was discarded by the church after the Second Vatican Council by a mistaken notion of the Second Vatican Council decrees on worship. So we are now reviving, and we have succeeded. Now many churches, many schools sing in Latin, and Latin is not a dead language itself, language that is very much alive. For example, coronavirus. Corona is crown, virus is poison in Latin. So especially if you are doing science and medicine. So I am teaching Latin here. At the end of the training session, I will be teaching Latin. So that is going on. In all, from the year 2000 to now, with the support of the church, we may have trained something like 15,000 boys and girls in different parts of the country. And we have deanery level, that is in different parishes, school level, combined schools. And so that has enhanced our quality. And we have also taken part in Asia Pacific competition. And we, in a sacred category, we competed with the seniors, this college, all adults. And we got a silver. And that was outstanding. And we have also done extremely well in the Royal Schools of Music exam, advanced choral exam. And those people who come here to judge, they are amazed. And British School for Performing Arts, I have got 5 scholarships, 3 Josephians and 2 girls from St. Lawrence's, 3-week trip for them. They had performed, they had come back, and that type of scholarship gift also we were able to provide for our students. So that's at the international. And we also took our teams. We took a group of 93 children to Rome. We sang in front of the Pope, and the Pope told our cardinal that choir is singing well. After the blessing, the choirs can sing. There are 2 mics on top. So while we were singing, they were broadcasting. He sang an Italian chorus, A Pensiero, slaves chorus, and the Pope was very much touched. He told our cardinal, they were seated right on top, bellissimo, very beautiful. And he said pronunciation is very good, very good. So, and we also sang inside Peter's Basilica. This is outside. We did a Rome concert. We have also done a concert in Jerusalem, Holy Land, in different places. I took another group. These 93 people combined in 4 schools: Ave Maria, Mar Stella, Good Shepherd, and St.Joseph. Combined in 3 different flights we went. Holy Land, only our boys. And we performed in front of the Latin Patriarch. And we sang Latin, and we were surprised. I have also taken the Stafford International School to Dubai Sangeet Festival. And we performed in the National University of Singapore. That's a highly reputed. 2 concerts we performed. And we sang in 10 different languages. And in my understanding, you perform in different languages, learn different languages. That also enhances your capacity to think, and also trying to understand the beauty of different cultures. So that is how the international exposure. Then I have also sung in Lourdes in France with the choir, and Russia when I went for a scientific symposium. Because I used to ask some tricky questions from those at this discussion, big plenary session. And then I'll tell you a simple thing. There was a lecture on how to prevent and treat injuries in sports. So after a big lecture, I got up and asked, "Learned professor, how do you prevent injuries in boxing?" The whole idea is to injure the other way. So I used to ask questions like that, and that would create a lot of discussion. They put me on the head table on the final day, and each person in the head table can say a few words. So instead of saying something, I sang an Italian Neapolitan song. So that exposure is there. Korea, I took a team to Korea, basketball team, girls and boys, and for an international youth championship. And they said, we went early. So they said, can you group, boys and girls, sing a song? We broadcast huge gala concert, huge. And that will be broadcast on Korean TV. So I said, I can train. So I trained them to sing with the help of a Korean. Sing a song called Arirang. And that's like a national anthem. It's not a national, like a national. And our boys and girls sang back by the Korean military band. And the Koreans were highly thrilled. Oh, Sri Lanka, sing Arirang. Take free shops. They just said, no money. So that experience also there.
Mr. Almeida, you have been through a lot in life and also have achieved so much. But you said it wasn't easy. It was always tough. You were against the challenges. You always swam against the current. We see the youngsters and their lives, what they are blessed with, and there might be certain things that are lacking in their lives as well. What do you think is the advice that they might have to look up to in achieving success in life as a whole?
Einstein once said, imagination and creativity is more important than acquiring knowledge. I mean, most of his theses were based on utter imagination. If you go through his the things that he has propounded to the world, it's all based on imagination. So, imagination is important. Creativity is important. Creativity means you don't do things that you have always done in the same way. Always find something new, something very interesting. That is one. Two, a trainer, coach has to be a good learner. He has to get up, he has to read, he has to study, he has to do research. You have to learn more than the student, even the subject that things that he knows, and combining other fields to connect them. So, as a person, you have to have creativity, then you have to be a learner, then mediocrity. Now, what happens is people are satisfied with things as they are. They don't go outside the box, go that extra mile to do something new for the society, new for the students. So, and the institution also where you are working also are quite happy with the mediocrity. 9 A's, 3 A's, quite happy. They don't go beyond that. So, we have to teach the children, don't be a mediocre person. Become somebody extraordinary and seek perfection. Just something is better than nothing theory. That's what normally schools expect you to do. Something is better than nothing. No. Seek perfection and go for excellence. And the main thing about excellence and perfection, it doesn't have a finish line. Like in a race, 100 meters has a finish line. This doesn't have a finish line. It keeps going like an horizon. So those are some simple things. And always be two other things. You have to be a caring person for the society, the poor, the marginalized. Social justice is very important. So whatever you do, you connect it with social justice. And also make people happy through your music, through your sports, and bring the world together. World in Union, that's a song that I've heard our boys sing. World in Union. Cross high mountains, cross deep seas, climb high mountains. That should be the theme. So thank you very much for coming all the way and bringing your crew and having the interview, following the way that we were, all the things that we did, step by step, whatever we did. And may you be blessed with more such creative sort of endeavors.
Yes, Mr. Almeida. And we thank you so much for sparing your time off this busy schedules in middle of the practices that are going on. And we certainly gathered a wealth of knowledge with this discussion. And certainly the little choristers helped us, and everybody, director, the vice rector, all of them contributed towards the success of this discussion. We thank you for tuning in. What's the point of being the best in life and not allowing another person to win for a change? Mr. Francis de Almeida was never seeking for attention. He was a warrior, but in his fight, he made the choice to be quiet and take a step back. In the same way, in everything, always, he was behind the curtain, and he listened to the applause and take the bow by the heart. He took the audience seat while he deserved the first place. That is Mr. Francis de Almeida. Marioananda Productions.
Falling in love, you and I, hand in hand, have come so far from a distant land. Oh, you're my hero, you're my life, you're my heart, you make it bright.
Like and subscribe.
Can you hear your laughter? Can you see those eyes brighter than stars? Rose, see head and shoulders less. So victory can be redefined. The need of a new dimension for convention. Need some action for invention. Your intention tries will vision to the new dawn of life. Nobody's jailed to a rank anymore.
Revolutionized to revolutionize life.
Yeah, Mother Nature cry, raise up the children God never denies. In a touch you'll be healed with the power of love. Just one touch you.
Rocking the world and changing the world.
My heart, believe me for now it's a great start. Let no rage intensify inside of me. It's hard to bear, still I dare not to be like them, I swear. I do not care, I do not want to be a part of your warfare. Sorry for peace, but with gun strikes, collateral damage done with rights. The bodies seem to raise their voice over our lives.
Marioananda Productions.
Perfection is not a must, because errors make things beautiful. Don't let the world shape you to its laws. Remember that being yourself is the key to shape the world. Have the backbone to do the right thing. Be ashamed of being someone who does the same as the others without any reason or logical basis. If you're pure at heart, everything will be revealed to you in a wonderful way. Cheers to those who awaited my downfall, and bless those who prayed for me. Never let fame make you forget your purpose. Don't rush. Real talent deserves the right time and the best place to shine. Be the one who's powered by God, not by drugs.
isolation, no desolation, written